The rain-slicked microphone trembled in my hand as the cameras rolled, capturing every bead of water tracing down my cheek like tears I refused to shed. "Welcome to our first meeting of Hearts United, a safe space for gay couples in our neighborhood," I said, my voice cracking under the weight of 100 staring eyes. Neighbors I'd waved to for years, now twisted into masks of disdain. In that frozen heartbeat, before the first jeer erupted like thunder, I realized this wasn't just about a group. It was about claiming the air we breathed, the ground we walked, and the love we'd fought to hold on to. But let's rewind to the morning it all ignited, that crisp autumn dawn in Seattle when the fog clung to the evergreens like a lover's reluctant goodbye. I was Alex Rivera, 32, a graphic designer who'd traded the chaotic pulse of Miami for the steady rhythm of the Pacific Northwest 5 years ago, chasing a dream as elusive as the sun breaking through those endless clouds. My apartment in the Willowbrook suburb was a sanctuary of exposed brick and potted ferns, walls lined with sketches of couples entwined in eternal embraces, my way of sketching out the life I wanted. And there he was, Jordan Hayes, my anchor, 35, with the broad shoulders of former college rower and a laugh that could melt the chill off Puget Sound. We met at a coffee shop during Pride last year, his hand brushing mine over a spilled latte, and in that accidental touch, we'd found our rhythm. Him, the high school history teacher with a passion for restoring vintage bikes. Me, the artist who saw stories in every shadow. That morning, as steam rose from our mugs of black coffee on the balcony, Jordan wrapped his arms around me from behind, his chin resting on my shoulder. "You sure about this, Alex? Hosting the first Hearts United meetup here." His breath was warm against my ear, carrying the faint scent of pine from his shampoo, a reminder of our weekend hikes up in the Cascades, where we'd first whispered, "I love you," under a canopy of stars. I turned in his embrace, tracing the faint scar above his eyebrow from a biking mishap we'd laughed about for months. "More than sure. This neighborhood's got us all tucked away like secrets in a drawer. Time to pull it open." We'd spent weeks planning, flyers in local cafes, posts on community boards, even a shout-out on the neighborhood app. Hearts United wasn't just a group. It was a lifeline for couples like us, those navigating judgmental glances at block parties, whispered slurs behind picket fences. In a place as progressive as Seattle on paper, Willowbrook felt like a time capsule, pockets of old-school conservatism lingering like damp, rot in the foundations. By noon, the backyard was transformed. Jordan strung fairy lights between the maple trees, their soft glow promising warmth against the encroaching dusk. I arranged chairs in a loose circle around the fire pit, where embers would soon crackle stories into the night. A table groaned under platters of empanadas, my abuela's recipe, a nod to the Miami roots I'd carried across the country, and Jordan's famous berry cobbler, still steaming from the oven. Rainbow flags fluttered gently from the fence posts, subtle but unapologetic. As the clock ticked towards 6, nerves fluttered in my chest like trapped birds, but Jordan's steady hand on my knee during our final checklist grounded me. "We've got this," he murmured, his thumb circling patterns that spoke of nights tangled in sheets, of futures we'd mapped out in hushed promises. The first guests arrived like hesitant fireflies, Mia and Lena, a Black and Asian couple in their late 20s, both baristas at the corner bookstore, clutching a bottle of Pinot Noir like a peace offering. Then came Theo, a non-binary artist with vibrant blue hair, and their partner Kai, a quiet software engineer whose smile lit up only when Theo teased them about their latest tattoo. We were 5 couples strong by the time the sun dipped low, laughter bubbling as we shared tales of first dates gone awry. Mia recounting how Lena proposed with a fortune cookie note during dim sum. The air hummed with possibility, a fragile bubble of belonging I'd craved since moving here, where every friendly wave from neighbors felt laced with unspoken questions about the man I loved. But as the group swelled to a dozen, the bubble began to strain. I noticed them first, the cluster at the edge of the yard, half hidden by the laurel hedge. Mrs. Hargrove, the widow next door with her starch collars and Bible study circle, flanked by Mr. and Mrs. Delaney from across the street, retirees who'd once baked us welcome cookies that tasted suspiciously of judgment. They weren't on the invite list. This was invite only, whispered through trusted networks. Yet here they were, murmuring, their faces etched with the kind of disapproval that curdles milk. Jordan caught my eye across the fire, his brow furrowing. "Ignore them," he mouthed, but the seed of doubt had rooted. I stood to refill drinks, forcing a smile as I approached the table. That's when Hargrove stepped forward, her voice slicing through the chatter like a winter gale. "Alex, dear," we couldn't help but notice this gathering. "Thought we'd pop over to see what all the fuss was about." The group fell silent, eyes darting between us. I swallowed hard, channeling the poise I'd practiced in front of the mirror. "Evening, Mrs. Hargrove." We're just hosting a support circle for couples in the community. Care to join? Her laugh was a brittle thing, echoing off the fences. Support? For what exactly? Parading your lifestyle in broad daylight. The word hung heavy, laced with venom that made Mia's hand tighten around Lena's. Delaney cleared his throat, stepping up with a smartphone in hand, the red record light blinking like a predator's eye. "We got questions, son. Folks in Willowbrook deserve to know what's happening in their own backyards." My heart hammered, but I held the line. "This is a private event. If you're not here to support, maybe it's best." "Private?" Hargrove scoffed, her voice rising. "With those flags waving like surrender signals?" "We saw your flyers, Alex. Hearts United for gay couples. Sounds like an agenda to me." The Delaneys nodded, phones now both out, capturing every angle. A few more neighbors trickled in. The Thompsons, the stern-faced couple from 2 doors down, their teenage son trailing with wide eyes. Whispers turned to murmurs, a growing chorus of unease rippling through the yard. Jordan was at my side in an instant, his arm a steel band around my waist. "Let's keep this civil, folks. We're just trying to build something positive here." His teacher voice, calm and authoritative, usually diffused tensions, but tonight it only fanned the flames. Delaney thrust his phone forward, zooming in. "Positive? Recruiting, more like. My wife and I have grandkids coming next week. We won't stand for this filth corrupting the neighborhood." The word filth landed like a slap, drawing gasps from our guests. Theo stood abruptly, chair scraping, but Kai pulled him back, whispering urgently. I felt the heat rise in my cheeks, a mix of rage and shame I'd thought I'd buried years ago in therapy sessions and pride marches. This isn't recruitment. It's connection. Love isn't filth. It's the most human thing we have. My voice trembled, but I pressed on, the group's eyes on me like lifelines. We've all faced enough hiding. Tonight, we're choosing visibility. Hargrove's eyes narrowed, her lips curling. Visibility? You mean spectacle? And with cameras? Bold, I'll give you that. She glanced at the news van I'd invited. Local affiliate KSCA, who jumped at the story of a grassroots LGBTQ initiative in the suburbs. The reporter, a kind-eyed woman named Sarah, hovered at the gate, her crew setting up discreetly. But now, with the neighbors' phones joining the fray, it felt like a coliseum. The jeers started small, a chuckle from Thompson, a muttered disgrace from someone in the back. Then it swelled, a wave crashing over our circle. "Go back to the city," one voice bellowed. "This is a family neighborhood," another echoed. Mia clutched Lena's hand white-knuckled, tears streaking her face as a beer bottle sailed from the shadows, shattering against the fire pit in a spray of glass and sparks. Chaos erupted. Guests scrambled, chairs toppling as shouts drowned out the fairy light's glow. Jordan shielded me, his body a barrier against the surge, but elbow caught his ribs, doubling him over with a grunt. "Alex, get inside," he gasped, but I couldn't move, rooted by the raw injustice of it all. The dream we'd poured our hearts into, crumbling under the weight of fear-mongered hate. Sarah's camera rolled on, capturing the melee, neighbors shoving forward, our group retreating in a huddle of linked arms. "This is assault," I yelled, phone in hand now, dialing 911 as the first sirens wailed in the distance. Hargrove sneered one last time, her face inches from mine. "You brought this on yourself, boy," stirring up trouble. As the police lights painted the yard blue and red, Jordan pulled me into the house, our guests trailing like wounded soldiers. The door slammed shut on the nightmare outside, but the echoes lingered, shattered glass in the grass, flags trampled underfoot. In the kitchen, amid sobs and shaken hugs, Mia whispered, "Was it worth it?" I met Jordan's gaze, bruised but unbroken, and nodded. "It has to be. Or what's the point of any of this?" That night, as the story hit the evening news, suburban standoff, LGBTQ group met with backlash. We curled together on the couch, the world's judgment flickering across the screen. Jordan's fingers traced my knuckles, a silent vow. "We'll rebuild," he murmured into my hair. Bigger, braver. But deep down, doubt gnawed. Had one evening of visibility cost us everything? The humiliation burned, a scar that would either harden us or break us wide open. The fallout hit like the relentless Seattle drizzle, seeping into every corner of our lives over the next few days. By morning, my inbox overflowed. Hate mail from anonymous accounts calling me everything from pervert to homewrecker, interspersed with messages of support that felt like fragile lifelines. The neighborhood app exploded, posts decrying the gay invasion, petitions to evict us circulating like viral flu. Jordan fielded calls from his school principal, assuring her the incident wouldn't bleed into his classroom, though I saw the worry lines etching deeper around his eyes each night. We retreated into routine, or what passed for it. Me sketching furiously at my drafting table, channeling fury into bold lines of intertwined figures defying shadows. Him grading papers by lamplight, stealing kisses that tasted of resolve. But the romance that had always been our refuge now carried an undercurrent of urgency, as if we were racing the tide. One evening, as rain pattered against the windows, Jordan drew me into the bedroom, his hands unbuttoning my shirt with deliberate slowness. "We can't let them steal this," he whispered, lips brushing my collarbone. Our bodies moved in familiar harmony, a dance of gasps and grips that reaffirmed what words couldn't. We were each other's defiance. Yet the humiliation festered. At the grocery store, a cart rammed mine. Hargrove, feigning accident, her eyes cold as she hissed, "Watch where you're pushing that agenda." I gripped the handlebar until my knuckles ached, biting back the retort that would only fuel her fire. Jordan, ever the protector, started walking me to work, his arm linked possessively through mine, but even that sparked stares from passing dogwalkers. The group chat buzzed with updates. Mia and Lena had relocated their coffee dates to a safer cafe across town. Theo posted a raw sketch of the shattered bottle, captioned, "Shards of Solidarity." We scheduled a virtual follow-up, screens glowing with determined faces. "We pressed charges?" Kai asked, voice steady despite the tremor in their hands. I hesitated, glancing at Jordan. Legally, it was assault, but in Willowbrook, it might just paint us as agitators. Not yet, I decided. First, we tell our story. The cameras were rolling. Sarah's got footage that could shift everything. Sarah called that afternoon, her tone a mix of empathy and excitement. "Alex, this is gold. Raw real. Airing a special tomorrow." Your voice leading it. "You in?" My pulse quickened. The humiliation replayed in my mind. The jeers, the bottle, Jordan's wince. But beneath it, a spark, the moment I'd stood firm, claiming space for us all. "All in," I replied. Prep consumed us. Jordan role-played interviews, his gentle, probing drawing out the ache I'd buried. The Miami youth were coming out mint fizz for my own cousins, the isolation of suburbia where pride flags felt like targets. "You're not alone," he said after one session, pulling me close. Our lovemaking that night was fierce, reclaiming power in the press of skin, the arch of backs, a romantic rebellion against the world's attempt to diminish us. Broadcast night arrived with a buzz. We gathered the group at our place again, this time indoors, fortifying the living room with blankets and wine. As the segment opened, me on camera, rain-streaked and resolute, the room held its breath. Clips rolled, the setup's joy, the intrusion's ugliness, my plea for humanity cutting through the chaos. Sarah's narration wove it masterfully. In a neighborhood divided, one man's dream of unity faces its darkest test. Reactions poured in live. Social media lit up, Hearts United trending locally, supporters sharing their own stories of hidden loves. But the backlash surged too. Hargrove's letter to the editor, decrying moral decay. By midnight, our doorbell rang. Jordan peered through the peephole, a cluster of unfamiliar faces, holding signs, "Love wins, hate ends." They weren't neighbors. They were allies from Seattle's core, queer folks who'd seen the broadcast and driven out to stand with us. We invited them in, the house swelling with voices, laughter mingling with tears as we swapped tales around the coffee table. A trans woman named Riley, with silver-streaked hair and a voice like velvet thunder, clasped my hand. "You gave us permission to be seen." Jordan beamed from the kitchen, pouring rounds, his pride in me a tangible warmth. As the night waned, he and I slipped to the balcony, the city lights blurring below. "This is just the start," he said, kissing me slow and deep, the rain a soft curtain around our world. But dawn brought reality's bite. At work, my boss pulled me aside, clients wary after the controversy, freelance gigs drying up. Jordan's school faced protests from parents, his tenure whispers turning to doubts. The petition hit 200 signatures, city, council murmurs about community standards. Isolation crept in, a slow poison. One night, after a particularly venomous voicemail from Delaney, "Move or regret it," I broke. Curled on a bathroom floor, sobs racking me, Jordan knelt beside, holding me through the storm. "I drag you into this," I choked. He cupped my face, eyes fierce. "We chose this. Together. And I'd choose it 1,000 times for you." That vulnerability forged us closer, our romance deepening into something unbreakable. Late-night confessions by candlelight, spontaneous dances in the kitchen to old jazz records. Yet the kitchen tin built, tension coiling like a spring. An anonymous note slipped under our door. "Next time, no cameras to save you." Fear shadowed our steps, but so did resolve. We planned a second meetup, bigger, at a neutral park, inviting media and legal observers. "They humiliated us once," Jordan said, mapping routes on his phone. We rise or we burn trying. As the date neared, cracks showed in the neighborhood facade. A young mom from down the block, Sarah Jenkins, with twin boys and a husband in the military, knocked one afternoon, pie in hand. Saw the news. My brother's gay. Lives in fear back home. If there's anything. Her words trailed, but the gesture lingered, a humanistic thread pulling at the divide. The park event loomed, hearts pounding with equal parts dread and hope. We'd invited Hardrose's crowd too, a olive branch wrapped in steel. Would they come to disrupt, or had the broadcast planted seeds? As Jordan and I scouted the site, hands intertwined under the oaks, I felt the story's arc bending. From humiliation to potential redemption, love's quiet revolution, one step at a time. The park smelled of wet earth and possibility that crisp Saturday, leaves crunching underfoot as we unloaded chairs from Jordan's truck. Discovery Park sprawled before us, a green haven on Seattle's edge, with the sound's distant shimmer mocking our nerves. We'd tripled security, volunteers from a local queer center, their vests a badge of solidarity, and Sarah's crew buzzed nearby, lenses trained on the pavilion we'd claimed. 24 couples arrived early, a tapestry of diversity. Elders with linked canes, young parents with toddlers and rainbow carriers, all weaving stories that stitched our frayed edges. Jordan and I stood at the entrance, greeting each with hugs that lingered a beat too long, our own embrace a public vow. His hand in mine felt like armor, the calluses from bike wrenches grounding me. Look at this, he breathed, surveying the growing circle. Laughter echoed already, Theo leading an impromptu icebreaker, drawing caricatures on napkins. For a moment, the humiliation faded, replaced by this blooming community, romantic in its raw humanity. But as noon struck, they came. Not a mob this time, but a procession. Hargrove at the fore, clutching a cross necklace like a shield, flanked by the Delaney's and Thompsons, their faces a storm cloud of righteousness. Behind them, a smattering of curious locals, phones at the ready. My stomach twisted, memories of shattered glass flashing. Jordan squeezed my hand. Breathe. We're ready. I stepped forward, mic in grip, voice amplified across the grass. Welcome, everyone, friends, neighbors, skeptics. Hearts United isn't about division. It's about seeing each other. Today we share, we listen, we heal. Applause rippled from our side, tentative claps from the fringes. Sarah filmed it all, her nod encouraging. Hargrove's group halted at the pavilion's edge, a human barricade. Delaney raised his phone, that damned red light blinking. We're here to witness, he announced, voice booming. To ensure this doesn't poison our community. Murmurs swelled, tension crackling like static. I swallowed, channeling the emotional core we'd rehearsed. Witness then, but hear this. Love doesn't poison. Fear does. I gestured to a nearby couple, Elena and Sophia, Latina women in their 40s who'd driven from Tacoma. Tell them your story, Elena. She rose, voice steady despite trembling hands. We hid for 20 years, jobs lost, family turned away. But here, we stand tall. Her words landed soft, piercing. A few in the crowd shifted, eyes softening. Hargrove crossed her arms, but her gaze flickered. Uncertainty? The circle opened, inviting them in. Jordan moderated gently, his history teacher's poise turning testimonies into lessons. Kai on the isolation of bi-erasure. Riley on trans resilience amid rejection. Laughter punctuated tears, humanity bridging the chasm. One neighbor, a burly man named Greg from the hardware store, lowered his sign. Lost my son to silence last year. He was, like you, maybe I should have listened sooner. Gasps, then hugs, Greg enveloped by our group, his shoulders shaking. Hargrove watched, lips pursed but unmoving. As the sun arced higher, the mood shifted. Skeptics drifted closer, some sitting tentatively. Jordan caught my eye, mouthing proud, his smile a spark that ignited something deep, a romantic surge amid the drama, reminding me why we'd fight. But thing never shall. Midway through, a shout pierced the air. This is blasphemy. A newcomer, Pastor Ellis, Hargrove's ally from the local church, stormed the center, Bible aloft, flanked by 3 burly deacons. Repent, or face God's wrath. He thrust pamphlets at guests, words venomous. Your union's mock creation. Panic flickered. A mom shielded her kid. Mia froze mid-sip. I surged forward, heart thundering. This is a space of peace, Pastor. If you can't respect that, respect. He laughed bitterly. You're the ones disrespecting decency. His deacons advanced, one knocking over a chair, another snatching a rainbow pin from Lena's lapel. Jordan intercepted, chest to chest. Back off. Now. Fists clenched, the air electric with threat. Sarah's camera whirred, capturing the standoff. Volunteers form a line, phones out for evidence. Ellis sneered, inches from Jordan's face. Touch me, and it's assault on a man of God. The crowd polarized, our side chanting love wins, while his echoed turn away. In the melee, Hargrove surprised us. She grabbed Ellis's arm, voice sharp. Enough, Harold. This isn't the way. Her eyes met mine, conflicted, years of doctrine warring with the humanity she'd glimpsed. He shrugged her off, but the moment cracked his momentum. Police sirens wailed distant, called by a vigilant ally. As officers arrived, diffusing the tension with calm commands, the pastor's group retreated, tails tucked but threats lingering. This isn't over. We'll expose you all. The pavilion emptied slowly. Our circle diminished, but defiant. Greg stayed, helping stack chairs. Thanks for not writing us off, he muttered. Back home that evening, exhaustion crashed over us like waves. Jordan and I collapsed on the couch, wine forgotten as we debriefed. Hargrove hesitated. I noted, replaying her intervention. He nodded, pulling me onto his lap. Seeds planted. But Ellis, he's trouble. His kiss was urgent, hands roaming with a need born of adrenaline, a romantic reclaiming, bodies entwining in the dim light, whispers of I need you punctuating moans. Sleep came fitful, dreams haunted by looming shadows. Morning brought escalation. A viral video, Ellis is doing, splicing our event with Dr. Clips, implying debauchery, calls to boycott Jordan's school. Protests swelled outside the district office, signs vilifying us as predators. My freelance dried to dust. Jordan's classes filled with empty seats, whispers trailing him like ghosts. We fought back. Lawyers consulted, counterposed flooding feeds with unedited truth. Allies multiplied. The city councilwoman, a lesbian icon, pledging support. National outlets picking up the thread. Yet isolation bit deep. One night, after a brick through our window, scrawled with sinners, Jordan held me as I shattered. I can't lose you to this, I sobbed. He rocked me gently. You won't. We're unbreakable. From those depths rose strategy. A town hall, neutral ground, to confront the divide head-on. Invites went out, to Ellis, Hargrove, all. Not confrontation, Jordan advised, conversation. As we prepped, our love deepened. Stolen moments in the garage where he restored his bike. Me sketching him mid-wrench, capturing the sweat-glistened focus that mirrored his devotion. The hall loomed, a battleground of words where humiliation could forge empathy or fracture us forever. In Jordan's arms that eve, I found courage, romance as revolution, one heartbeat at a time. The town hall's fluorescent buzz felt like judgment's glare, rows of folding chairs half filled with Willowbrook's fractured soul. Our allies clustered left, Ellis's flock right, neutral scattered like wary deer. Jordan and I sat front row, hands clasped under the table, his thumb's steady rhythm a Morse code of we've got this. Mayor Langford, a silver-haired pragmatist with a hidden bisexual past we'd unearthed through whispers, moderated from the podium, her gavel a promise of order. As lights dimmed for the opening statements, my pulse thrummed. Sarah filmed from the wings, her presence a shield. I spoke first, voice raw with the emotional weight we'd honed. Willowbrook isn't defined by our differences, but by how we bridge them. Hearts United seeks understanding, not conquest. Applause erupted uneven, fears from our side, sparse echoes elsewhere. Jordan followed, his teacherly cadence weaving history in a heart. Every movement starts with one voice. Stonewall, suffrage, they faced worse. We're asking for the simple grace of being seen as neighbors, as humans in love. His glance my way ignited butterflies, a romantic undercurrent amid the drama that reminded me. This fight was ours, entwined. Ellis rose next, Bible in fist, voice booming scripture like artillery. This agenda erodes family values, lures innocence into sin. His deacons nodded, pamphlets rustling. Murmurs swelled, tension coiling. Then Hargrove stood, unscripted, her chair scraping loud. All eyes turned. Harold, sit. Her tone brooked no argument. She faced the mic, hands twisting her necklace. I prayed on this. Seen things. My late husband, God rest him, had a brother like Alex. Hidden, ashamed, died alone. Maybe visibility saves lives. Gasps rippled. Ellis sputtered. Eleanor, you're bewitched. But she held firm, eyes locking mine. No, awakened. The room shifted, a humanistic pivot. Her confession cracking the armor of absolutes. Greg, our hardware ally, added his voice. Lost my boy to that silence. Won't let it claim more. Dialogue flowed then, kitsch tin in waves. Questions lobbed like grenades. answers parried with stories. A teen from Ellis's church asked haltingly, "Is it a choice?" Mia fielded gently, "Love chooses us." Tears flowed, laughs punctured, progress fragile as frost. But climax brewed. Midway, Ellis lunged, seizing the mic. "Lies. This is recruitment." He waved a fabricated flyer, our logo doctored with salacious claims. Chaos, shouts, chairs toppling. Jordan vaulted on stage, resting the mic back, his body shielding the mayor. "Enough. Dialogue, not destruction." I joined, arm around him, facing the roar. Ellis's deacon swung, fist glancing my jaw, pain exploding stars. Sirens again, officers cuffing the aggressor as the hall emptied in uproar. Media frenzy outside, flashes blinding, mics thrusting. Bruised but buzzing, Jordan and I huddled in the green room, ice on my swelling cheek. "You okay?" he fretted, lips brushing the hurt. I nodded, pulling him close. "With you? Always." Our kiss was salt-tanged, fierce, a romantic anchor in the storm, bodies pressing as if to merge souls. Aftermath cascaded. Arrests made, lawsuits filed against Ellis's fabrications. Hargrove visited next day, pie in hand like Sarah's echo. "I am sorry, Alex." For the start. Her eyes, lined with regret, held a spark of allyship. "Join us next meeting?" I offered. She nodded, tentative. "Maybe." Support surged, donations for a community center, city backing our group. But scars lingered. My jaw throbbed. Jordan's nightmares of the swing woke us sweating. Romance became ritual. Dawn walks along the waterfront, hands swinging, sharing dreams of adopting, of a home unfenced by fear. Yet threats evolved. Anonymous calls escalated. "Watch your backs," and a slashed tire on Jordan's bike hinted at shadows. We installed cameras, varied routes, but paranoia seeped, straining our bond. One argument flared. "We sell the house." Jordan proposed, exhaustion cracking his calm. "Run." I shot back, hurt flaring. "No, fight smarter." We made up in tears, lovemaking amending, slow, exploratory, reaffirming trust in whispers and caresses. Allies deepened ties. Riley mentored a youth art program under our banner. Theo's murals bloomed on downtown walls. National spotlights came, Oprah's network sniffing a special, Love Under Fire. We prepped, vulnerability our weapon, sharing the humiliation's raw edge, love's redemptive power. As filming loomed, a letter arrived. Ellis from jail, vowing divine justice. Chills ran, but Jordan burned it in the fire pit, ashes scattering like old ghosts. "Our justice," he declared, drawing me into the night. Under stars, we danced barefoot, romance a quiet rebellion, his heartbeat against mine, promising endurance. The specials taping approached, a high-wire act where our story could heal or haunt. In each other's arms, we found the thread. Humanistic value and persistence, love's triumph over terror. Spotlights hot as judgment seared the studio set, a mock Willowbrook Park recreated with astroturf and potted evergreens. Ironic, this sanitized stage for our grit. Oprah's presence loomed off-camera, her warmth a counter to the crew's frenzy. Jordan and I sat on a bench prop, knees touching, his hand a secret anchor as the director called action. The interview unfolded like therapy amplified. Oprah's questions peeled layers. The hook of that rainy night, the bottle shatter, Hargrove's pivot. Humiliation strips you bare. I confessed, voice thick. But Jordan, he reminded me love rebuilds. He squeezed, eyes shining. Alex's courage? It's my North Star. Romance wove in naturally, clips of our first hike, his proposal under Cascade's rain, a ring simple as our vows. Guest spots humanized. Mia on resilience, Greg on redemption, Hargrove via video, tearful, I was blind. Now I see brothers. Ellis's shadow loomed in archival rage, contrasted by our calm. Hate thrives in silence. Oprah intoned. You broke it. Rap brought catharsis. Group hug on set. Laughter echoing. Back home, buzz built. Premiere in weeks. Trailers teasing and neighborhoods reckoning. But Kitsch Tin shadowed joy. That night, as Jordan and I celebrated with takeout sushi on the balcony, headlights swept the drive. Tires crunched. A figure hurled something. Molotov cocktail, flames erupting against the garage. We dove for cover, heartbeats deafening over the whoosh. "Jordan!" I yelled, scrambling for the extinguisher. He was there, wrestling the hose, water dousing the blaze as sirens screamed near. Smoke stung, acrid reminder of vulnerability. Firefighters contained it. Minimal damage, but the message scorched. We know where you live. Cops took statements, faces grim. Ellis's crew? Jordan guessed. Evidence pointed yes, a deacon's prints on the bottle. Arrest followed, but fear lodged deep. We crashed at Riley's downtown loft, the city's pulsar bomb. Curled in a guest bed, Jordan held me fierce. No more hiding. We fortify. His touch turned tender, love making a defiant spark. Bodies arching in the dark, gasps mingling with rain on the roof. Romance as refuge. Days blurred in security sweeps. Alarms installed, restraining orders filed. Work steadied. My designs commissioned for pride campaigns. Jordan's classes swelling with curious kids. The group thrived, meetings at the news center, donated space, walls echoing with stories. Hargrove attended her first, awkward but earnest, sharing cookies that tasted of olive branches. Premiere night arrived electric. We watched at the center, packed house of 200. Cheers at our entrance clip, sobs at the fire reveal. Oprah's voiceover sealed it. From ashes, unity rises. Q&A followed, questions probing. Worth the pain? A teen asked. I pulled Jordan close. Every scar's a story. And ours? It's love's legacy. Post-airing, waves crashed. Book deals dangled, TED Talk invites. But intimacy grounded us. Weekend escapes to the San Juans. Kayaking side by side, seals barking approval. One dusk, beached on pebbles, Jordan knelt anew. Marry me, Alex. Not despite this, because of it. Ring glinting, tears blurred my yes. Romance peaked, kisses salty with sea. Bodies joining under infinite sky. A meaningful crest amid turmoil. Yet suspense lingered. Ellis's trial loomed, his letters from lockup venomous. Vowing appeals, martyr status. Neighborhood patrols increased, whispers of a purge rally. We rallied allies. Councilwoman pushing ordinances against hate crimes. National orgs funding security. Trial week gripped Seattle. Headline screamed, faith versus fury. We testified, voices steady. Me on the bottle's terror, Jordan on the swing's brutality. Ellis glared, unrepentant. God's work. But Hargrove's rebuttal wrecked him. You twisted faith into fear. I know better now. Jury deliberated days. Tension of ice. Verdict dropped like thunder. Guilty, 5 years. Cheers erupted outside courthouse. Our group enveloping us in hugs. But victory tasted bittersweet. Scars etched permanent. That night, Jordan and I walked the waterfront, fog rolling in. We won a battle, he said. War's ongoing. I leaned into him. Then we fight loving. Healing deepened romance. Engagement party at the center, toasts to futures. Mia, as best woman, Theo's mural backdrop. Vows exchanged impromptu, simple, profound. In shadows and light, you're my home. As winter thawed, Willowbrook shifted. Rainbow crosswalks painted, Hargrove's church hosting dialogues. Our story rippled national, inspiring groups coast to coast. Yet core remained. Quiet nights, Jordan's head on my chest, dreams shared in murmurs. Epilogue beckoned, meaningful close. A life rebuilt, love's quiet triumph over chaos. Spring bloomed tentative in Willowbrook. Cherry blossoms dusting sidewalks like confetti from a half-forgotten parade. The center thrummed now. Hearts United's hub. Weekly mixers, therapy circles, youth art nights where kids like the Thompsons' son sketch flags without fear. Jordan and I planned our wedding there. Modest under the oaks, invites extended wide. Allies, skeptics turned friends, even Ellis's distant kin seeking amends. Daily life wove normalcy with vigilance. My studio downtown, commissions flowing from murals of entwined hands. Jordan's tenure secured. His curriculum now laced with inclusivity modules. Romance simmered domestic. Mornings brewing coffee tangled in robes. Evenings biking trails. Wind whipping laughter. One sunset ride. He proposed a detour. Adopt. The word hung, profound. We dreamed aloud of a kid. Curly-haired like me, stubborn like him. Expanding our love circle. But Kitch Tina's embers glowed. Ellis appealed. Bail granted pending hearing. Rumors of rally swirled. We beefed security, but doubt crept. A canceled vendor for the wedding, whispers at the grocery. Hargrove, our unlikely confidant, hosted a pre-wedding tea. Awkward grace in her china clinks. Feared for you both, she admitted. Now, proud. Her hand pat mine, bridge crossed. Wedding eve, nerves jangled. Rehearsal dinner at the center. Mia's toast roasted our dramatic asses, laughter cathartic. Jordan pulled me aside, garden shadows cloaking us. Tomorrow, you're mine forever. His kiss deepened, hands urgent, love-making against the wall, passionate, possessive, a romantic prelude to vows. Dawn broke golden, guests assembling. Riley officiating, Theo's floral arch vibrant. I waited in the side room, suit crisp, heart full. Jordan entered, eyes only for me, blonde hair tamed, smile radiant. Ready. We clasped hands, emerging to cheers. Ceremony unfolded poetic. Riley's words on resilience. Our vows raw. Through bottles and bricks, I choose you. Rins exchanand. Kishil ermid erplos. Hargrove teared up front row. Greg clapping loud. Reception swirled. Dances wild. Cake smeared in joy. Jordan and I stole the floor first. Slow sway, to at last. Bodies synced, world fading. Honeymoon whispered, San Juan's again, cabin by the sea. Days blurred in bliss. Hikes to lighthouses, nights in hearth glow, bodies exploring anew. Tinder, exploratory, love's language fluent. Our story's just beginning. Jordan murmured, tracing my tattoos. Meaningful, yes, humanistic arc from humiliation to harmony. Return brought ripples. Oprah follow-up, love's next chapter. We shared wedding clips, adoption plans, Ellis's shadow minimized. Community bloomed, cross-neighborhood potlucks, dialogues where former foes shared tables. One eve, adoption agency call. Match found, a 4-year-old boy, Mateo, Latino like me, eyes wide with hope. Home visit prepped, nerves electric. Jordan built a treehouse in the yard. I sketch his room, stars and bikes. First meeting at the park. Mateo's shy grin melted us. Papa, he tested. We nodded, tears flowing. Months later, court finalized. Family forged. Nights now lullabies and storybooks. Jordan's voice rumbling tales, mine sketching adventures. Romance evolved. Stolen kisses over bedtime battles. Date nights with a sitter. Passion reignited in quiet hours. Ellis's appeal failed. Sentence upheld. Justice a quiet close. He wrote once, contrite from cell, forgive, as I seek. We didn't reply, but burned no bridges. Humanity's value in release. Years folded. Mateo grew, out and proud in our home, neighborhood ally. Hearts United franchised, chapters nationwide. Jordan and I, graying at temples, still bike trails, hands linked. Looking back, that rainy hook, microphone trembling, jeers rising. Birth this, a life of kitsch tin conquered, romance enduring, ending meaningful. Love doesn't just win, it weaves the world new. Looking back from the porch swing, creaking under our shared weight, I traced the lines on Jordan's hand, each a map of battles won, sunsets chased. Mateo dashed across the yard, now 12, kicking a soccer ball with Theo's kid, laughter a symphony drowning old echoes. Willowbrook had softened, crosswalks faded, but spirits bold. Hargrove's Memorial Garden blooming with rainbow perennials, her legacy a quiet testament. Our story, once viral wound, now inspired lore. School assemblies replaying the special, books penned on the Willowbrook uprising. Yet intimacy anchored us. Anniversaries in the Cascades, renewing vows under the same rain-kissed stars, bodies familiar yet thrilling, love's fire banked but eternal. One autumn, as leaves turned, a letter arrived. Ellis, paroled early for good behavior. Seeking amends, it read. We met him in the center, neutral ground, Mateo safe with Mia. Frail now, eyes humbled, he apologized halting, twisted faith into fear. Your light showed me grace. Forgiveness flowed, easy, humanistic close, handshake sealing, no more. Mateo's coming out at 16, bisexual, flag pin proud, tested then strengthened us. Block party that year, we hosted, neighbors toasting his courage. Jordan teared, whispering, full circle. Romance whispered too, post-party, we slipped away, love-making slow, grateful, celebrating life's weave. Aging graced us. Jordan's classroom retired to consulting, my art gallery opening downtown, shadows to solidarity. Grandkids came eventually, Mia's twins tumbling in our yard, stories of the old fight bedtime lore. In quiet moments, Jordan's head on my shoulder, I'd reflect. That hook, rain on my humiliations bite, propelled us to meaning. LGBT journeys aren't linear. They're arcs of drama, emotion, romance, ending not in perfection, but profound connection. We built more than a group, a legacy, and in each other's eyes, the truest tale, love unbowed, eternally ours.